A few weeks ago, I made a video asking men over 60 if they still want sex. And overwhelmingly, the answer was yes. And I understand because turning 60 doesn't kill your sex drive. It just changes the landscape. Now, if you're one of those men who still wants intimacy, especially with someone who's not your wife or long-term partner, you need to hear this before you make a move. Because here's what most men don't consider. You meet a woman, there's chemistry, things progress naturally. And in your head, you're thinking, it's just sex between two consenting adults. Simple, clean, no complications. But that one night doesn't end when morning comes. It creates leverage. It creates expectations. It creates emotional obligations you never verbally agreed to. And most men walk into this completely blind, then spend months or years dealing with consequences they never saw coming. So let me walk you through exactly what changes the moment you sleep with her and why sex. At this age is far more complicated than you think. Before sex, you're a man she enjoys talking to, someone interesting. The dynamic is balanced and equal. But after sex, you become emotionally positioned in her life in a completely different way. And that shift happens instantly whether you intended it or not. You see, physical intimacy creates expectation, entitlement, and emotional access you didn't explicitly grant. She now unconsciously feels, I have a claim here. So, your boundaries start shrinking. Things you could easily say no to before become harder to refuse. Little requests become frequent expectations, and guilt becomes a tool. After what we shared, you won't even help me with this. You thought you shared pleasure. She feels a connection has been sealed with ongoing rights to your time, attention, and emotional energy. Now here's where it gets heavier. And this is the part most men completely miss. You don't just become a man she slept with. You become her emotional infrastructure. She starts anchoring to you, psychologically offloading stress she used to handle alone, seeking stability from your presence. And without any explicit agreement, you're now her emotional safety net, her problem container, her calming presence when life gets chaotic. This happens through emotional gravity, not direct requests. Her moods quietly become your responsibility. Her stress seeps into your peace, and you can't identify the exact moment it happened because there was no conversation, no agreement, just a slow transfer of emotional weight from her life into yours. At 60 plus, carrying someone else's emotional foundation isn't a small ask. It's a life-altering burden that drains your energy and disturbs the peace you've spent decades building. Now, let me be clear. This isn't women being manipulative. For most women, physical intimacy creates emotional bonding. That bonding creates expectations about continued connection. It's biological and psychological. But just because it's natural for her doesn't mean you have to accept the consequences. Because here's what you're actually doing when you sleep with her. You're opening a door she walks through into your peace, your time, your mental space. And once intimacy creates that sense of access, enforcing boundaries becomes nearly impossible. She'll feel hurt, rejected, confused about why you're pulling back after you were so close. The boundaries you could have set easily before sex become painful conflicts after. You'll try to create distance and she'll weaponize the intimacy. I thought we had something real. And yes, you did have something real one night, but she's trying to turn it into ongoing emotional infrastructure. So before you make that move, ask yourself, are you prepared to become her emotional support system? Are you ready to carry her stress as part of your daily reality? Can you handle the expectations and guilt that intimacy will create? If the answer is no, then the sex, no matter how good, isn't worth it. The pleasure lasts one night, but the emotional entanglement can last years. And at this stage of your life, your peace is more valuable than any physical satisfaction. You might enjoy one evening and spend the next 6 months trying to extract yourself from obligations you never agreed to create. That's not a fair trade. Now look, I'm not saying never have sex. I am saying understand the full cost. The chemistry will cloud your judgment. The desire will make you think it'll be different this time or I can handle it. But the pattern is consistent. Intimacy creates leverage. Leverage creates obligation. Obligation destroys peace. The man who understands this can make informed decisions. The man who thinks it's just about physical pleasure walks into traps he never sees coming. That's not theory. And if you love this video, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss these conversations every week. And tell me in the comments, have you experienced this dynamic? Did intimacy create expectations you didn't anticipate? How long did it take to extract yourself? I'm Avery Scott, and I'll see you on the next one.